Hello everybody, it's Mama Shar here. Welcome back to a brand new video on this channel. Today's video is going to be a little different, a subject that I really don't ever talk about, but I feel like I have to talk about it, especially in this video. I'm not saying this because I have nothing else to say, and I'm not saying this because anything got to me that I had to the point where I had to say it. I'm saying this because it is my life, my journey, and I feel like it's something I need to unlock and open up for you guys now, because you guys being my Charlotteers, and we're almost at 6,000 subscribers. I feel like you guys deserve to understand a little more about my life and open me up in a way. You know, just understand everything about me, because, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like a creator is only as important as what their creator, how that creator talks to their creation. And I'm not saying that you guys are my creation, but you guys are my subscribers, you guys are my children, you guys are like my creation of subscribers on YouTube. I still use the word created. Oh well. In today's video, I do want to talk to you guys about my life in general and everything that's been going on. And a lot of my videos in the past, I have made videos about me, just kind of like my updates and stuff. But today, I'm actually going to be talking about you guys about my past life, or my past, just everything that's happened in the past up to now, especially with my life when it comes to everything. If you guys read the title, it would say that I'm talking basically about my parents. Okay, so this is not about my parents that I call my aunt and uncle / mom and dad. This is about my biological parents. So my entire life, when I grew up, you know, I grew up in a different setting than a lot of kids grow up, especially in my time. I think divorces weren't as common, I guess, back then as they are now. I mean, all kinds of things happen now. It seems like, because when I was younger and I spoke up to people about my mom passing away, people didn't want to believe it, you know what I mean? But nowadays, you just hear it all the time. But I do want to talk to you guys about basically how that has affected my transition and everything in my life, because I lost my parents. If you guys need tissue paper or anything, put them to the side. It's going to be a little bit of a long one, okay? As I grew up basically without a mom from the age of 4 going on the rest of my life. My mom, in my eyes, is a symbol, and she's not really much of a person to me. The reason why I say that is because I don't remember much about my mom. In fact, I don't remember anything about my mom. I don't remember anything. I didn't know really what she looked like until I saw videos. I didn't know what she sounded like until I still really don't know what she sounds like now. And I think to this day is a good reason why I actually get a lot of the depression I get, because I sit there and I think, what if, if only, and it's a hard thing about life. You can't bring people back from the dead. It's never happened. If you guys don't know, my mom died of stomach cancer around the age of 28 years old, and I was 4. I had different siblings, of course, at this time, and my father stayed alive. My father, his name was Steven, basically, and he didn't take care of the kids, because I guess, I don't know exactly the whole side. I'm not going to sit there and say on YouTube I know exactly what happened. So I'm just saying he didn't take care of us. We were split off as siblings into different families. Some of us were in different families, some of us were in the same exact family. That was me and my brother. I lived with this family for a little while, and my brain started started coming together as to who I was, and that's when things took a drastic turn. When I was growing up with a separate family, I called my aunt and uncle, but my auntie made me call her mom. I kind of forgot that I had siblings. I thought, you know, I lived with my brother, but I felt like he was my only brother, you know? I didn't know anything about siblings. And as we grew up, people would come into our lives, especially our sisters. They came into our lives, and they said, "Where are your sisters?" And it completely mind-blown me, you know, mind-fucked me at the time, to believe that I mean, it wasn't important to me because I was a kid, but at the same time, I'm like, 2 sisters now, what else am I missing? My entire life, I spent my life figuring out not who I was, but who was around me. And a lot of the time, it made me kind of not look at my own self in my life. I didn't sit there and think, oh, well, you know, who am I? And I didn't do that. I spend my time thinking, who is around me? You know, most of my life I say this all the time, I'm like Harry Potter in a way, where a lot of the time I meet people that know me and I don't know them. They're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And you know, the hardest part about it is is everyone knew me as a different name. See, I was going by a different name when I was younger. In fact, I was going by 2 different names. See, we had a section of family that loved my father, and a section of my family that didn't like him at all. And I was taught at a young age to hate my father for basically abandoning us, and to believe that he was just a drunk guy that didn't care about any of us. If you guys don't know, I was a junior. I was the junior of the family, and I was the 3rd in line. I was the oldest brother at the time. And so, I went by a different name. I went by my middle name, Andrew. I was taught to believe that my first name was Andrew, my middle name was Steven, my last name was blah, blah, blah. So, what I'm trying to say is, when you're going through your entire high school, middle school, elementary school years, going through a different name than you were supposed to be assigned at birth, the name messes with you. When you have to learn that your name is Steven throughout the years, and then you kind of like say, okay, well, Andrew's done with, I'm an adult now, let me embrace who I'm supposed to be, Steven. And I embraced it for somewhat amount of years. I don't know how long. I mean, it was from 18 to 21, so about 3 years. I embraced the name Steven. People didn't like that I called myself Steven. Some people didn't like the fact that I was named Andrew. People just, it was so hard. And a lot of my times in my life, I grew up with aunt and uncles in different places, so I had to experience my upfront family, like, my blood cousins, my first cousins, my, all that stuff, and aunts and uncles. They were all in a different city, so I had to learn who they were, and they had to sit there and tell me, oh, we love you, we've always wanted to be around you, blah, 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 blah. Well, this is when everything changes. As soon as I realized Steven wasn't me either, is when I turned to transition. Okay, so I turned to transition because I finally was able to think about myself, my own life. I kind of got to the point where I accepted that I didn't have a mom. I accepted that I had a dad. I accepted that I didn't have a dad, and my father passed away in 2013, I think, from basically from liver failure because he drank so much, and turns out he was a depressed man. And it sucks sometimes because people try to paint me as I'm a junior and I should be like my father. And I think when I transitioned, a lot of my immediate family was upset and got upset and still upset to this day because I didn't fill those shoes in of a guy that had passed away. I'm my own person, I wasn't meant to be a junior. And people think that just because I had that label, the junior label, and my name was Steven too, that I'm supposed to basically remind them of him, and that's just wasn't it. It wasn't who I was. And a lot of my life I just sat there and I sat there and I just hoped and I wished. And even though my father passed away in 2013, basically when I was already an adult, it doesn't mean that I knew my dad. My dad was barely ever in my life. I'm telling you, he was 0.0001% of my life. I'm telling you, how much is that? A phone call. That's really how long I've ever talked to him. I do not know what my dad sounds like either. I do not know his personality. I don't know. I barely know who he looks like just because I've seen him in his deathbed. I've seen him, I've seen a lot of stuff. And a lot of people don't understand, the values of family to me. I grew up in 3 different family settings. And to a lot of people, they might, think it's funny, but or think that I'm just over-exaggerating, but try to live in one family for 3 or 4 years and move to a whole different family, a whole different group, a whole different lifestyle right after that for the rest of your life, and understand that it takes a toll, especially when you're a kid. I moved from this city right now that I'm in. I moved from this city from the age of 8 to move to my smaller town, Socorro, from 8 to 18. So basically, 3 years, I lived 4 years with my biological parents, and then from that 4 years till another 4 years, I lived with an aunt and uncle that I called mom and uncle, and then from there I lived with another aunt and uncle that now I call mom and dad, aunt and uncle, 8 to 18, so 10 years. So basically, what I'm trying to say is my life was never consistent. I don't have a normal kid's life. I don't sit there and say, oh, well, yeah, my parents are still here. Oh, yes, your grandma and grandpa are still here. The saddest part about my life is that I lost my mom and a dad, and I call someone else a mom and a dad, and they're old age people. They're not like 40s, 30s. They're like 50s, 60s. So, every day I'm thinking to myself, when am I going to lose my next parents, I feel like I'm losing everybody at this point, and it sucks. And my only goal in life right now is to create a family and be happy and just be successful in life and just try to create a new chain of reaction of a better living for everybody else. Because I sit there and I think to myself, how hard my life was, but how easy I try to make it for myself. I sat there and I didn't think about it. I could have been depressed. I could have been doing very negative things to myself, and instead I lived life. I was given a gift from God to basically be positive. Don't think of the negative. And as an adult, I have kind of experienced a lot of that negative I've kept out all my life as of recently, which is why you guys have seen me depressed. You guys have seen me going through anxiety. Because I think about my mom who passed away from stomach cancer at the age of 28. And I'm thinking to myself, who knows what can happen to me? What if I pass away at a young age? And I think to myself, all the situations I can get myself into to pass away, and it haunts me. It really does. I sit here and I think to myself, what if I get cancer? Because my mom passed away from cancer at a young age. Death is a very scary thing to me, and it's because I lost my parents. It's because I've lost my grandparents. One of the last things my grandma, I was told about my grandma is that she was upset with me because I transitioned. I literally transitioned. The beginning of my transition happened when my grandma passed away, and I was told by my auntie that they were all upset with me because of this. So I literally had to live with the fact that my grandma passed away, basically not happy with me, and my other grandma passed away. A lot of people don't understand what it means to lose everything, it seems like, and to try to build everything around you. Friendships mean more, relationships mean more. A lot of it means more to me because I lost so much. But I'm stronger because I have lost much. But deep inside, I go through a lot. And I try my best through success of YouTube, through success of basically where I live, family. I do that. I think of that stuff so I can get my mind off of the negative stuff, because my mind is drifting off a lot into the negative, into the what's my purpose. And it has nothing to do with my transition. My transition happened because I'm transgender. I should have known about this all my life, but I spent most of my life just sitting here wondering who was around me and who was legit and who wasn't. I spent my entire life trying to find out who other people were, then I didn't figure out who I was. And that's why I never questioned anything. I just lived my life the way people felt like I should live. When I was moving to my home in Socorro, I wanted to play soccer. Apparently that's more of a gender neutral sport, female or male. And I was told to play football and baseball, and that's the sports in the family, I went through, like I said, I went through emotions of what people wanted me to do, and that's what I did. I lived the way everybody wanted me to live. And now that I'm adult, it's different. It's different. I'm making my own decisions, and sometimes it's very, very hard decisions. Sometimes it's very life-changing decisions. But deep inside, I look for things to make me happy, to make those decisions worth it. And my YouTube channel is one of the big reasons. I like documenting my life. I like showing you guys who I am, understanding. Living without parents is a very hard thing. You don't have that guidance. And I'm not saying that my aunt and uncle, my mom/dad, are, don't fill that void. But I barely get to see them. And I still have a lot of disconnection with my family back in my hometown, and if someone wants to comment about that, that's completely fine. But at the end of the day, look at it from my perspective. You know, no one wants to sit there and feel like no one wants to talk to them. You know what I mean? I live in my apartment, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. 0 of my family, my biological family, any of my family that I grew up with has come to visit me once. And it's a big reason why I'm moving to California with my girlfriend, because, you know, at the end of the day, you can only go so much to go see someone else and never expect and never get it back in return. You know what I mean? And it just gets to you sometimes. And being like a trans kid, you know, I'm like a child again. I'm trying to like figure things out and try to understand life, and sometimes I need parents there, and it's like, you know, as I'm an adult, I really just don't have anybody here coming and see me. And, you know, it's happened at my last apartment. Thank goodness at this apartment I have my friend and my girlfriend here to give me that support and that love when I go through all this stuff, because I don't have family members. I don't have cousins, and I honestly have never had a cousin come over here to my house or my apartment. I never had anyone contact me and say, hey, can I come over? Can we go visit? We need to visit. No, nobody. And I'm not saying that I don't either. Like, I'm not saying that I'm like the queen at going out and going to see people. But at the same time, I have gone the distance to go see people in my hometown. I've done it a lot. I put in hundreds and if not thousands of miles into going to my hometown to go see family. But a lot of people, you know, they're living their lives, and sometimes people just don't want to. They just don't want to come They don't want to come like 70 miles down the road to come see you. You know what I mean? Especially now with COVID and stuff like that. That's a whole different story. But at the same time, you know, as someone that's transitioning now, it's always great for me to have a mother figure, and that's why I'm thankful for my girlfriend's mother to be in my life, because she has been in my life for a little bit. You know, she's kind of becoming like a mother figure to me, and it's awesome because she accepts me, she loves me, and all that stuff. You know, it's just amazing to have that kind of love around me, and that's all I really ever wanted. To be honest, life is really full of hard stuff, and you know, sometimes you break down just trying to live, and you need someone to pick you back up and let you know everything's gonna be okay. And deep in my heart, I think there's only one reason why I would be happy to die, and that was because I get to see my mom again and my dad. I fear death a lot, and I think to myself, why fear death if it's only gonna bring me good? And I'm not saying that I'm suicidal. I'm not saying I'm gonna kill myself. What I'm trying to say is my fear I need to get over. I have people in my life now that I'm happy with, but sometimes losing people, not even through death, but just not seeing them all the time, is like them dying in front of you. You don't see them anymore. My life has been like that. You know, I didn't always live with my brothers and sisters all the time. I lived with my brother for a couple of years. I lived with my sister for a couple of years. I lived with my other sister for a couple of years. There was a time I lived by myself as my own kid, as the only child. I never consistently grew up with brothers and sisters around me and a mom and a dad. It just wasn't like that, and that's my life, you know? That's what I have to deal with. I cannot go back in time, and I think that's one of the hardest parts about my acceptance of life, is that you just can't go back in time. You can't relive everything. You gotta accept your past for what it was, and you gotta live your future the way you want to live it. And that's why I think to myself, I want a family, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to be successful, I want to be money successful, I want to be successful with a family relationship, a marriage potentially, and sit there and give these kids a life that they will never forget, because I didn't get it. I didn't. But with that being said, guys, I'm just going to leave it off there. I put all my links down in the description below. I also put down all my stuff down just so you guys can see all this stuff pop up, you know, links and stuff to OnlyFans and stuff like that. If you guys want to, go follow all those. If you guys came to understand me in this video, please give it a like. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe to Punch Out Cheers today, and if you guys can, ring the story notification bell so you guys can be notified every time I go live on YouTube or upload to YouTube. Also, buy my book, Apple Mia, anything you guys want to do, down in the description below. I'm Mama showing you guys my shout out tears. I love you guys, lots of tear tots, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
till dawn. A little ritual, snap the beating that you got. Or leave the body for